Hey class, uh, I'm here to talk about the 30-point project that's due. This one is called Connect 4 of Doom. Now, hopefully at this point you've done the tic-tac-toe program with me. Uh, I did that the longest possible way you could do it. Uh, there were an infinite number of shortcuts would have made that thing significantly shorter, but that is what this program is based on. And what I'm hoping is that, you know, you use your brain a little bit and contemplated how could you make some of these things a little shorter. Now, this project is got a lot of the same parts and pieces. Uh, you still have a board. You still have two players, X and O. You can use XO, RB, whatever you want to use for this. But the initial way that things are put into the board is different. Initially, in tic-tac-toe, you would put it specifically in a slot. I'm going to go here. I'm going to go here. I'm going to go to this middle slot. In Connect 4, that's not how the game works. For those of you that have played it, you should know, basically it's a board. You're up here. You drop the checker down. It goes to the bottom slot. Now you go here, you drop the checker down, it goes to the bottom slot. Unless there's something there, then it goes to the one above that. Uh, so your first goal, as far as user input goes, this is the biggest hurdle in this project, is to make it work for the first column. You can use 0 through 4 or 1 through 5, however you want to label the top of these. But if what I'm going to do is I'm going to ask the user which column they want to put their checker in. They choose 1 or 0 or whatever it is. I'm going to check the bottommost column. Is that empty? If it is, put something in there. Or is it full? If it is, go to the next one. There's a couple of different ways to write it. Uh, if there's something there, go up to the next one. If there's something there, go up to the next one. If there's something there, go to the next one. If there's something there, well, that column is full. Now, my array is going to be a two-dimensional array, a 4 by 5. You could use a single dimensional array if you wanted to. You just have to make sure it prints to look like this. Most people would just go ahead and use the two-dimensional array though. Now, the normal Connect 4 board is actually, I think, if I'm not mistaken, a 6 by 7. Now, I made mine a 4 by 5 because I don't want to be super evil for you. Uh, if you remember, Tic-Tac-Toe had quite a number of win conditions. This is 4 in a row. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, like 17 win conditions for each player. Give or take, I think is, if my counting is correct here. I got most of them outlined right here at the bottom if you want to look at the individual versions of this. There's 2 per row, 1 per column, and 4 diagonal, 2 on each side. Now, your first step, as I said, is to fill the first column. If you can fill the first column, guess what? You can fill the second, third, fourth, fifth, because the code is identical, except for I'm using 2, 3, 4, 5. Now, if you take the longest route with this program, like I did with Tic-Tac-Toe, you're going to find yourself sitting somewhere around 400 to 500 lines of code for this project. Now, it's a lot of copy and paste, and it's very big and bulky, but if you can figure out some shortcuts on how to cut some corners, write less, kind of like how I did in the previous project, if you notice the occurrences, for example, uh, then this project can be about 100 lines, give or take, 5 times less. Now, it doesn't have to be that small. That's just basically there to kind of push you in that direction. Try to figure out how you can do less work. The more you have to write, the more likely you are to screw something up. But if you have to do it the long way, because that's the only way you know how, don't try to throw in some super advanced technique you don't understand. Do it the way that works, first and foremost. Now, of course, we have everything pretty much after you get the input is exactly the same. You have a turn counter, although the number of turns, if you count the number of slots here, there's 4 by 5, there's 20 total turns, whereas tic-tac-toe had 9. If we fill the entire board, there's no win. Same as tic-tac-toe, it's a tie. If there is a win, well, it stops. You'll notice a lot of the portions of this are exactly the same as tic-tac-toe, like almost exactly. In fact, you can kind of, I would not take tic-tac-toe and just try to force it to be Connect 4. It's a good, easy way to screw up your entire project. If you want to copy and paste some parts, that's fine, but make a whole new project and build it one piece at a time. Don't open up your old project and try to edit it. That's the worst thing you can do. Usually it just ends up confusing you more than helping. So let me just outline the part that people get stuck at the most, and that's the initial, I want to fill this first column. Now, if my array here, let's say, let's do it this way. This might be a little bit easier. I have a 4 by 5. Just make a little Excel book here. All right, 4 by 5, right? I have 1, or I can use 0, 1, 2, 3, 4 if you like. These are my columns. Now, depending on my array, it's going to be a 4 by 5. So this would be 0, 0. Of course, it's not going to let me put it in there completely right. Let's see if I can adjust that. Text 0. There we go. 0, 1, 0, 2, 0, 3, 0, 4. And then this would be, 1, 0, 1, 1. And then if I'm smart, I can kind of copy some of these down here. There we go. So this is my rough map of my array. So if we look at this, it's a 4 by 5. Let's make sure I did that right. 1, 2, 3, 4. 0, 1, 0, 2, 0, 3, 0, 4. Then we go down by 5. Actually, something's not 2, 3, 4, 5. Ah, that's right. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yep, this one's not supposed to be there. There we go. So I have 4 going down, 5 going across. Now, your first step, I choose column 0, or it could be 1. It doesn't really matter what you want to label it, but I choose that column. The very first if statement you're going to have to write basically is, if, they choose 1, or I say column 0. This is my input. So if they choose column 0, well, the first thing I got to check is, well, if 3, 0 is empty. Yeah, put my x/o in there. Else if 2, 0 is empty or has something in it, there's a couple different ways to write it. Well, put my x0 in there. Else if 1, 1, then or sorry 1, 0, and this would be 0, 0, and then else, well, the whole column is full. That's kind of roughly how you would work this. Some nested ifs. Now, Once you fill the first column, and that is the first thing you need to worry about. Don't worry about all these others. Don't type in if column equals 0, else if 1, 2, 3, 4, and start filling everything out. First column only. And then guess what? All this is exactly the same for that. If I choose column 1, well, is 3-1 empty? Is 2-1 empty? Is 1-1 empty? Is 0-1 empty? And you notice there is a difference. There is a pattern here. As I go up, what happens? Decreases. As I go across, that second number increases. If I go left, the second number decreases, and so on. Those patterns are how you figure out how to shorten some stuff. But again, I want it to work before you worry about shortening things. This is kind of the rough idea. Once you fill that first column, then really it's kind of copy paste, make a few changes to fill the rest. And that is a lot of copy and paste. But if you copy and paste and all of a sudden everything is redlined and broken, undo. Don't try to just fix whatever it is you copied and pasted incorrectly. It's probably better just to Control Z, make sure you got the right stuff copied and pasted, and then try it again. Then you just start fiddling with stuff for 20 minutes and not figure out what's wrong. Now, once you get the input done, this project is exactly like tic-tac-toe. It's just a little bit bigger. You still have your input, you have your player swaps. So as soon as I can fill this with X's or R's or B's or whatever you want to use, then I just swap players. Once the entire board's full, it's a tie. I check for wins. Those will be if statements, just like tic-tac-toe. If these four here have X's or R's or B's or whatever you're using in there, well, then it's a win for that person. The game's over. If not, well, let's check the next one. The next. And there's another one going here. There's one going down. There's some going across, which I can't really. There we go. Another one going across. Like so. Once you have all those, you're done pretty much. Now, if you want to do the bigger board for extra points, I'll let you know how much that is, but it's going to be a decent number of points. If you use one of the shorter methods, honestly, it really doesn't matter if the board's bigger or smaller. If you use the shorter methods, you can make it 100 by 100, and your size of your code wouldn't even really change that much. If you do the longer method, though, adding this does significantly increase all parts of your program, from like the input to the win conditions. All those things get increased a little bit. All right. Well, if you have any questions, let me know. That's the programming project. I'll try to be available for anybody who has any questions or problems. That's it.